time now to talk business with our partners 2 Degrees. Retail sales have picked up, which is good news, but scrapping those pesky card surcharges could make life a little bit harder for one particular bank. Here with details, Garth Bray, Business Desk. Garth, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
Now, let's start with the... sorry, we're just having a joke because you've too many points for my small brain this morning, Garth.
Oh, we'll try and break it down and make it easy for everybody here, yeah.
0.5% for June, this is card sales.
Sounds tiny, right? But when you're expecting things to shrink 1/3%, it actually is good. And it's kind of, as they're saying, a head scratcher that we've seen the retail sales volumes rise. I mean, I think 25 billion was the seasonally adjusted figure. That's where they smooth things out so that when the school holidays and public holidays land in a month, it's not sort of distorting from the previous year. So that jump alone has given a lot of people some thought that there is, as they say, upside risk to the prospect that the economy might be still heading down in this last quarter. Upside risk being another word for we might have got it wrong and things might actually be better than we expected.
That maybe we've been talking ourselves into a Q2 blip.
Hard to say. I mean, like when you look across the picture, right, you saw Otago did better. A lot of regions, Wellington, Auckland, Southland, Waikato, volumes are actually down. You're seeing some industries that are not really particularly picking up, but in particular the electrical and electronic goods retailing was up quite strongly. Supermarkets are up. Well, hey, cost of living. Pharmaceuticals and other store-based retailing up. I mean, is it just because it's winter and we're all buying more pseudoephedrine now that you're allowed to? You know?
I certainly have been.
So is it just winter bugs and the cost of living? Or are we actually talking about something that will move the needle? And that's, I guess, as we've talked about before, there's some GDP figures through next month and we'll get a bit of a clearer picture of whether that's the case. But it all starts to contribute to the idea that things might be moving in the right direction.
Yeah, okay. Which is interesting because the Reserve Bank's just said they are expecting that we did go back 0.3, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
All right. Now we know the government's been moving on surcharges when we're swiping. Swiping, what you've been talking about.
Yeah.
Sort of ironically, one bank's been working on something behind the scenes on this.
Yeah, BNZ had this plan. It bought a product from a company called Pay App, which is like a QR code that you can use at the point of sale to basically transfer money straight to the merchant, if I understand it right, for a much lower fee, for about like 1/3 of the cost at their end, at their side of the merchant side, and for no cost to yourself. And their whole pitch was swerve the surcharge. You might have seen billboards and posters around the place of even moving around. Well, the government kind of swerved the surcharge around them. BNZ's putting a pretty brave face on it, saying, no, look, we think there's still benefits from this. There's ways in the background that the app will make your life simpler. It's definitely a better proposition, they say, for the merchants, they would argue, than, say, going through Visa or MasterCard and that $74 billion payments industry that's quite lucrative. But getting people to use the app, to download it, to get started, probably relied on them facing a bit of pay wave pain. And now, well, from May next year anyway, that's when they say that they'll finally phase those out. So they've got a wee bit of time to work fast, but maybe not the best timing on the ad campaign.
A little late.
Or the best timing on the government announcement.
A little late to the party. Or someone was a little too early.
Someone crashed the party.
Yeah. Now, we heard a while back about this plan for a new ferry port in South Island, and I remember you talking about this. That's not looking so great now. What's happened?
Yeah, well, it was ambitious. It was privately funded, supposedly, although there wasn't a strong sort of funding case for who was going to pay for this all. Just here was this land in Clifford Bay, near the sort of the Grasmere Salt Works, and there was an idea that you would shave about 2.5 hours off the time it takes a truck to get from Auckland to Christchurch if you put in basically a ferry terminal. It was a straight shot across the strait instead of swerving through those picturesque sounds. However, our infrastructure editor, Ollie Lewis, has been doing some digging. He's managed to dig up the correspondence backwards and forwards from Winston Peters, who basically went, no. Hard swerve, thank you very much. You kind of needed to come to us with maybe some better numbers about how this was going to be funded and so on. And also, we're just basically going to get maximum reuse, as they said, of the existing infrastructure at Picton, rather than trying to run it through. So he politely declined the opportunity to go and visit and take a look for himself and said, go talk to NIFCO, the National Infrastructure Funding and Financing lot, to say, look, see if you can find a market-led proposal to get this off the ground.
And so, what's happening?
We'll keep you posted.
No,
but
I won't hold my breath.
No.
Garth, thank you. Garth Bray from Business Desk. Thanks to our partners 2 Degrees.